right. So how old were you when the war started?
When the war started.
Yeah.
I was drafted
Alright.
when I was 18. I had a register, and then I was 18 in July, and then by March they drafted me.
Alright. 18. Alright.
As we turned 18, we had a register with a draft board, and then in March they sent. I was 18 in July, and then the following March they drafted me.
Oh wow. So
Jack, ask the questions. Don't bother typing because then we'll just go back to the video. Okay?
can you just translate? So what was life like before the war? What was life like before the war?
Like you were in high school.
Not good. We were poor, and I was hired out on a farm, and I lived there and went to school from there.
Yeah.
So then I wanted to stay over one night to play basketball, and he said, "If you're going to work for me, you got to come home a certain time, feed the chickens and whatnot." So then I said, "Well, then I ain't working for you." So then I went home, and my little brother was in the CC camp, and he said, I wasn't quite 18 then yet. Then he said, "You lie your age," he said, and tell them you want to go in the CC camp, and tell them you want to go to New Mexico where I am." So that's what I did. Then they sent me to South Carolina.
South Carolina.
Goldsboro, South Carolina.
Okay. And what did you do there? What was that? Was that boot camp? What was that?
That was a CC camp.
CC camp.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they worked like the service, like they were building roads and stuff. And then I went to that.
All right.
Well, then by March, when I was 18 then, I had a register, and then by March they drafted me. That's when it started. Well, then when after I was drafted, there was, I guess, about 100 and some of us left Ephrata for up here Harrisburg, where they where they take them in. Not the Gap. It was over. Anyway, then when we were drafted, they sent me to Fort Benning, not Fort Benning, Fort McClellan, Alabama, to take 6 weeks of training.
Okay.
Or whatever, 16 weeks, I guess it was. So then after our training, we were supposed to get a furlough. So they said, "You get a furlough when you get to your next place, then you get your furlough." So then they sent us to St. Louis Obispo in California. It was they were filling up the companies to go overseas. So they put so many of us in this company, so many in that company. So they had the what's it called? Well, then they said, "We're sorry, but we can't give any furloughs because you're alerted to go overseas." So then we were there maybe 2 months before they shipped us overseas. Well, then when they shipped us overseas, then they sent us to Hawaii.
Where?
Hawaii.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where was that? Is that
On Oahu.
Oahu?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, in Hawaii Islands.
Yeah, Hawaii now. Well, then we took more practice there, amphibious practice, like landing boats and stuff. We used to get up in the morning and go into the North Shore and make a dummy landing, you know. So we were there, I don't know how long, quite a while. Yeah. And they finally sent us to New Guinea. And we were there. We didn't make a landing there, but we relieved an outfit that was there. So then we were more or less building roads and patrol and stuff. We didn't make the landing there, but we relieved an outfit. So then after that, some of our company went to the northern part of New Guinea and made a small landing. And there they didn't have no opposition. It was mostly, they got what they call scrub typhus, a disease.
Typhus, yeah.
And a lot of them are out of commission for it. So then when we left there, then we made a landing on Luzon in the Philippines. And there were 4 divisions. Like we were on the left side, second one on the left side, and then there was 4, one in the middle. There was 4 divisions, and then we had 112 days of continuous combat to the. Well, then while we were doing this, they dropped the atomic bomb. Well, then the war was over. So then I said, oh boy, now we're going home. We're going home. Well, then they took us. They took the oldest, the guys that had the most time. They got out first. They couldn't discharge them all at one time. So then they sent us to Korea to occupy. So we were there from Thanksgiving Day 45. And then we loaded our boats to come back to the States. So I was never home the time I went in till I got out.
Wow.
So
You never got a furlough in that whole time, right?
Yeah.
So,
Incredible, Jack, right?
I have a thing at home where it says we had 120 days of continuous combat. Now that's 3 months.
3 months every day.
Yeah. We lived in tents and foxholes and whatnot. Yeah. And then we finally left Korea Thanksgiving Day in 45. And then we got up to Indian Town Gap the day before Christmas in 45. And then this one sergeant says, where do you live? And we told him, he said, if I was you, he said, I'd go home over Christmas because they ain't going to process anything. So me and my buddy, his mother lived neighbors when we went in. We lived neighbors. He was in Europe first and then come to the Pacific. Well, then he called his mother come up and got us, and the next Mondays we went back, nobody knew. It's the only time I ever went AWOL the whole time I was in the service. You know, if that guy wouldn't have told us that, we wouldn't have did that. You know. It was quite, yeah.
So when you went on your first overseas mission, were you scared for like combat?
Was I scared?
Yeah, for combat.
Yeah, I was scared. Yeah, you think that first, what really helped me mostly was that we didn't go directly into combat. We went to New Guinea first, and then all we did was small patrols and build roads in the mud, you might say. We put coconut trees on, lay them this way, so they could drive over. it was nothing but jungles and rain all the time.
Yeah. So, on those patrols, did you ever encounter any of the opposition, any of the other side, any Japanese forces?
Did I ever what?
On the patrols, did you ever encounter any Japanese forces?
Yeah. They used to, when we were there, when we relieved this first outfit there in New Guinea, they Japs used to have what they call a bonsai attack. And we dig in a circle. The whole company or the whole platoon or whatever. And at nighttime, these Japs would come in all fired up. They call them bonsai attacks, you know. And I never had any close combat with a Jap, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
That's the way it is.
That's good. So, how did you keep in touch with your family?
Mail,
Yeah.
censored mail, they censored it all.
And how often was that? Like, how often do you usually write to them?
Probably once every 2 weeks or something like that.
Just keep
Right.
in touch.
Yeah.
So,
But you couldn't tell them where you were, or
Yeah.
not, because they censored it. You know.
about the censoring, what specific stuff were you not allowed to like send back home to your family?
Well, we could send letters whenever we wanted to, but you couldn't tell them exactly what location you were or where you were. You could hint a little bit, you know, that they could think where you were.
Yeah.
Till we made the landing on Luzon, then everybody knew where we were, you know.
Yeah.
We were there the whole time they took Manila. We started up at the northern coast and went the whole way down the valley.
Yeah.
But there was four divisions there.
Yeah. So,
That's where we had our most combat.
yeah. Just
When
going
they
down.
invaded made the beach landing.
Yeah. About the invasion, what do you remember about it specifically? Like, do you remember the day? Or do you, like, remember waking up on that day knowing that you were going to invade that place?
Well, like we were I guess the 42nd Division was along the mountain. We were in the valley, and two companies were going down the valley toward Manila. And then they had four divisions, and we were on this side, and then there was a division on this side and a division on that side. But we were right in the valley, like the highways and all. But then when we got to Monez or whatever it was, then that's when we got the heaviest fighting.
Yeah.
That's when we were in combat 120 days, and we lived in pup tents. Like not pup tents, big tanks
Yeah.
with the mosquito netting and everything else over.
Yeah. So, like, basically the type of tents that you see usually on, like, the TV shows that, like, in the military TV shows that they usually put.
When we were in New Guinea, they had a little place there on the side of the mountain. We were just doing board duty there. An outfit already had landed there.
Yeah.
And they pulled out and they landed up in the northern part of New Guinea, and then we just relieved them. And about all we did was patrol, you know. So then everybody got malaria. So, well, then we used to have a little, like a movie, they used to show us movies at night time. Well, they had a little island right off of New Guinea where the Japs were still on. So they decided to make a little theater there and show us movies. So every night when we would show them and they would show us this movie. Here, one of the Jap planes, we called him Pistol Charlie. He'd come over every night when we were showing pictures. One night they put a P-38 up there. Now, that was the last trip he made. They blew him right out of the sky.
Wow.
That was the end of Pistol Charlie. Yeah, it was more or less. But then them night patrols, you're out there in the jungles, you know, and
Yeah, you don't know what you're going to encounter.
you can't see right, and they put you on they give you a compass, and you're supposed to come out here. Yeah.
So,
But there we didn't have many casualties, more than the bonsai casualties.
yeah.
What come in now?
So about when you said when you said that you relieved the unit that was in front of you, and you said that there was a malaria outbreak. Did you end up getting malaria also?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
What was that like?
Huh?
What was that like? Do you remember any of like?
You get hot, then you get cold. You get hot, you get cold.
So that was that nice during the wartime.
And they told us when we get out, if we quit taking that pill, you're going to get malaria back.
Yeah.
And that's just what happened when I come home. Man, my dad got me a job at Lancaster at Armstrong, and then I couldn't work, you know. And I went to the doctor around here at Brownstown, if you know where Brownstown is. He didn't know how to treat it. And I said to my mother, I said, I'm going to re-enlist. If you re-enlisted within 18 months, you could hold your rank and stuff.
Yeah.
So then I re-enlisted.
So you just mentioned that you got re-enlisted.
Yeah.
So what year was that in? Was that during the war still, or was that after the war?
It was after the war. Yeah, I got discharged in December, and I think it might have been that summer that I went back in. I only enlisted for 18 months. And then I wasn't in no 18 months. And then I didn't serve my 18 months because my father got electrocuted. And there were 3 kids at home yet, young kids, like grade school.
Yeah.
So then I didn't serve my time in. Then I finally got out and got discharged.
So when you re-enlisted into the army, where did you specifically go? Did you stay in the United States, or did you go into like a foreign country?
He didn't. What he said was he didn't.
Oh, he didn't end up doing it.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move to post-war, like after the war.
So after the war, did you end up keeping in touch with the people that were in your division, or like more specifically in your, just specifically in your division or company?
What?
After the war, do you remember? Did you keep in touch with people that were in your division or company?
Yeah, there was most of them were from Lancaster County.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Because there was 130 of us left when we left. Most of them were from Lancaster County. But now there ain't many of us left no more.
So
The greatest generation. That's what they call it. The greatest generation.
So, do you recall the day your service ended in 1945? That's when your service ended, right? Do you remember that day that it ended?
The day it ended?
Yeah. Do you remember that day, like waking up and like, what did you feel that day? Were you happy?
We were in the
sad?
Philippines when it ended. That's when they dropped the atomic bomb.
And
And
is that when you got sent
that
home?
ended the war.
Yeah.
But then I didn't come home right away. Like I said, they released the ones that were drafted first. Like, see, I was only 18, well 19 then, but they didn't they left the older ones out first.
Yeah.
Well, then they sent us to Korea to occupy. Well, then from the time they dropped the atomic bomb to Thanksgiving Day, now what year did they drop it? Anyway, we were in Korea. And we loaded on the boats to come home on Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah.
The year after they dropped the atomic bomb.
So, once you got back home, did you go straight back to work, or did you take some time just to get back into your regular life, like the regular way of how things were?
Like I said, I had got malaria, and yeah, I went back to work, but then I couldn't get rid of this malaria, so I told my mother I'm going to re-enlist, because if you re-enlisted, you held your rank, you know, that you had, you didn't lose no. You went back with the same rating as you got discharged.
Yeah.
So then when my dad got killed, I didn't serve the full 18 months, only about a year, and then I got out.
So, does the war still affect you in any way today? Do you still have any like symptoms of malaria left over? Do you still live on
Not
with like
malaria,
memories?
no. But like muscle aches and pains, and they always said from sleeping in that foxhole and stuff, when you get older, you're going to know it. But,
Oh, really?
yeah,
That's interesting.
So,
but they made so many mistakes when they went into Luzon. Like, they were going to go back in there, it didn't matter what happened.
yeah.
They just, first place, big mistake they made, they went in there at low tide, high tide, or low tide. Then they hit a sandbar, and there the boat got stuck, and out we had to go. So there was a big mistake. They should have went in there when it was high tide, then they could get right into the beach. But they hit this sandbar, and then we might have been from here to Reinholz off the beach, but not that far as you could see. But, well then, when they hit that sandbar, that ramp went down, out you went. And then we had two guys drowned, trying to get their packs off to get over this dip in it. You know what a sandbar.
Yeah.
So there was one mistake they made. Why couldn't they go in there when the tide was high? Yeah, well, then when we got there,
It would have just made it so much easier.
we dug a foxhole, and when the tide come up, it filled up with water. See, that was poor management.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't care, you know.
So you were, as you said, you were 18 when you first got drafted. How did the war change how you grew up? Like, what lessons did you learn through like going into the war?
What life?
Like, how did life change for you after you got discharged from the war?
Well, then I got married and I got a job. I got a job at Dana Corporation in Reading. And I worked there 33 years.
That's Middle America. That's like, you know, a lot of the factory like and industry of America is right in this area. It's great.
So, what life lessons or advice did you learn, did you receive during the war by any one of your fellow soldiers, any of like the lieutenant or sergeant that was in command? What advice or lessons did you learn from them, if any?
Tough question. Tough question. Probably many. So Luzerne, though, was with the return of MacArthur, I think, right?
Another experience we had, going from New Guinea to make the landing on Luzon, a suicide plane hit our ship. So they come in the morning in daylight, with the sun, and we're all getting up ready to go up to eat breakfast. You hear the bells start ringing, and then after a bit, you heard this plane hit. And after a bit, all hands on deck. Then the big guns start shooting. Then you start worrying,
Yeah.
And then it hit the ship, set the superstructure on fire. But he was supposed to hit it low with the water, but he hit it high. But the first time the guys that were upstairs, they said he went around first and missed the boat. He dropped a bomb and missed it, then he circled around and then he hit it on the superstructure.
Yeah.
Well, then they had a fire up there. They killed, I think, 10 or 20 sailors, and then we had one or two guards up there. Our division had one or two guards up there. The next day they dumped them overseas in the water. Yeah.
So, this is a kind of another hard question. What life lessons would you give to kids today? What advice would you give to kids, or what life lessons would you give to them that are growing up that just could learn something from back in the day?
Learn something from the service.
Yeah. What advice would you give them?
I didn't learn anything from the service. What I mean. I worked, when I went in, I worked at Armstrong. Then when I got out, when I had this malaria, I couldn't do my job. I had malaria. Well, that's when I went back in. But after I got married, well then I lived a normal life.
Yeah. That's great to hear. That's all the questions I have for you. If you have anything else you'd like to add, you can just, if you have any other stories you want to tell about your service, you can go right ahead.
Can I ask a question? Was that the return of MacArthur to the Philippines?
Yeah.
That was, right?
Yeah.
That battle was the return of MacArthur, right?
Yeah, he was.
Years before, he had to leave the Philippines, Jack.
They chased him off.
They chased him off.
The Japs chased him off.
The Japs chased him off the Philippine Islands, and he made a vow that he was going to return to the Philippines and liberate it. And he's talking about the Battle of Luzon, the return of MacArthur to the Philippines.
Yeah.
And it was very symbolic.
Yeah.
And that's probably one of the reasons why they did a bunch of stupid things to make sure that, just all chances that they would be successful no matter what. Right?
Yeah,
because
right.
they
were
couldn't
going to go
afford
in
to
there
have MacArthur fail on his return to the Philippines.
Just like the other islands, like where the Marines took a lot of them islands, They went in there, they had machine guns, crossfire. When that ramp goes down, you go in.
Right.
It's scary.
Yeah.
Well, that's when we were in combat 120 days straight. That's 3 months. Like from the time we landed till we went into Manila. They had taken Manila when we went in. The other division took it. The 1st Cavalry took it. And then they put us there guard duty after they dropped their atomic bomb. Well, then we were there. The oldest ones that had enough of time are the other ones that were in the first draft in the war. Say some of the draft started in 39 or 40, I think. Some of these first drafts. Well, them guys got to go home first. So then they sent us to Korea to occupy. Well, then all we were doing was guard duty. But then, like every now and then, we'd get called up to the 38th parallel, and he'd get the scrapping a little.
Interesting.
But then I left there on Thanksgiving Day, and then it was so cold already. I don't know how them people stood it that were there. But, then and Luzon, I got the Bronze Star. Maybe I shouldn't tell you this, but they used to give us hand grenades, smoke grenades. Each guy got 2 to hang on with. And I never practiced much with these hand grenades and stuff. So we were going up this valley, and up ahead there's like a little ravine there, and a little hump. After these guns started coming out, they had these machine guns, cross fire. And I say, and we couldn't move nowhere. So this one guy said, we're going to take the BAR and we're going to keep shooting. As soon as that gun comes out, we're going to shoot. I say, well, then I'll throw up this ravine and I'll throw one of these smoke grenades. But they couldn't hit me because they were down pretty far. Sure enough, after a bit, hear the gun, and they started shooting. And I crawled up close enough, maybe from here to the, well, it was not that much, a little fuller than that. And I'm going to let one fly away. So you had to count 1, 2, 3, and by dumb luck, it landed right in front of the pillbox. And the guys start running out the back. There must have been 3 or 4 in there. And then after that, it was over. And then afterwards, my company commander said, maybe we ought to get you the gold star for that. He said, I'm going to try and write you up. I said, then again, he said, I don't know if they'll approve that, but said, I'll put you in for the silver star. But I got the bronze star then on him. Yeah, he was right. If he'd have put me in for the silver star, I might have not made it.
That's crazy. So, what were the emotions like when you got the Bronze Star? Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember when I did it. But getting the Bronze Star, they just issue it to you like they just give it to you. Like they don't have no big ceremony.
That's so interesting. Well, thank you so much for your time and your stories. I think that's all the time that's all the questions that I have, and that's really pretty much it.
Harold, thank you for your service too. These are incredible stories. You shake your hand.
But
I know you guys don't see them.
New Guinea is nothing but jungle. You couldn't make any organized attacks or anything. But then when we got to the Philippines, we were sleeping in tents and foxholes for 3 months.